Ambassador Tejo walked through the long metal halls of Harmony's Edge. The space station was huge. It was bigger than any human city. The walls were white and clean. Strange lights moved in patterns on the ceiling. This was the home of the Galactic Council. Tejo wore his best blue suit. He carried a small bag with Earth's papers inside. Today was important. Today, humans would ask to join the Galactic Defense Initiative. They wanted to help protect the galaxy. But something felt wrong. The alien creatures in the halls moved away when they saw him. A tall blue Vraxian stepped to the side. Its 6 eyes looked at the floor. A small furry Cathari made a scared noise and ran behind a corner. Even the floating Selenites moved their gas bodies away from him. Why are they scared? Tejo thought. He had been on this station for 3 months. The aliens were always nice before. They would talk and share food. Now they acted like he was dangerous. Tejo reached the big council room. The doors were tall and made of some kind of silver metal. They opened with a soft sound. Inside, hundreds of alien beings sat in curved rows. Their seats went up and up, like a bowl. In the center was a round table with 12 chairs. Only 11 chairs had aliens sitting in them. The 12th chair was for Tejo. He walked down the steps. His shoes made small clicking sounds. Every alien eye in the room watched him. The room was so quiet he could hear his own heart beating. Chancellor Vexitar stood up. He was the leader of the Vraxian people. His blue skin had dark spots. His 6 eyes were all different colors. When he spoke, his voice came from a machine that made it sound like human words. "We meet today," Vexitar said, "to talk about the humans. They want to join our defense initiative." Tejo sat in his chair. The other council members looked at their hands, their claws, or their tentacles. Nobody looked at him. "Before we vote," Vexitar continued, "we must speak about what humans are." A small green alien named Ziloth raised one of her 4 arms. She was from the Cathari people. They looked like cats but walked on 2 legs. Their fur was soft and their eyes were big. "Chancellor," Ziloth said in a quiet voice, "my people have studied the humans. We have read their history books. We have watched their movies. We have learned about their planet Earth." She stopped talking and looked around the room. Other aliens made worried sounds. "What did you learn?" Vexitar asked. "They are predators," Ziloth said. The word came out like a whisper, but everyone heard it. The room became very quiet. Some aliens made scared noises. A few got up and moved to seats further away from Tejo. Tejo felt confused. "Yes, humans eat meat," he said. "Many species eat meat. What is wrong with that?" An alien that looked like a big white tree stood up. This was Elder Morden from the Selenite people. When he talked, his voice sounded like wind through leaves. "Not just meat," Morden said. "You hunt, you chase, you kill other thinking beings for food." "No," Tejo said quickly. "Humans stopped hunting other intelligent beings thousands of years ago. We only hunt animals now, and most of us don't even do that anymore." "But you did hunt," said another voice. This came from a creature that looked like a giant purple spider. "You hunted your own kind. Human killed human for food." Tejo felt sick. "That was long ago," he said. "We changed. We grew better." Vexitar touched a button on the table. The lights in the room became dark. A big screen came down from the ceiling. Pictures appeared on the screen. The first picture showed human skulls with marks on them. The marks looked like teeth marks. "This is from your planet," Vexitar said. "Your people ate each other." The next picture showed cave paintings. Humans with spears were chasing other humans. Your people hunted each other. More pictures appeared. Bones with cut marks. Old weapons made for killing. Ancient graves full of bodies that died in fights. Your people were apex predators, Vexitar said. The hunters at the top. You killed everything, even yourselves. Tejo wanted to argue, but the pictures were real. These things had happened on Earth. Long ago, but they happened. Every species in this room, Vexitar continued, came from prey animals. The Vraxians came from plant eaters. The Cathari came from small creatures that hid from bigger ones. The Selenites grew from tiny sea animals that filtered food from water. The screen showed pictures of each alien species' home worlds. On every planet, the smart species had started as prey. They ate plants or tiny creatures. They ran and hid from hunters. We built our civilizations on cooperation, Vextar said. When food was hard to find, we shared. When danger came, we helped each other. We learned that working together made us strong. The screen changed again. Now it showed human cities and human wars. Humans built their civilization on competition, Vextar said. When food was hard to find, you took it from others. When danger came, you became the danger. You learned that being stronger than others kept you alive. Tejo looked around the room. Every alien was watching him with fear in their eyes. Even the friendly ones he had eaten lunch with looked scared. We are not like that now, Tejo said. Humans have learned to be peaceful. We help each other. We take care of our weak and old. We have not had a big war in over 100 years. But you still have the instincts, said Ziloth. When humans get angry, what do? Tejo thought about it. When humans got really angry, they wanted to hit things. They wanted to fight. They wanted to hunt down whoever made them angry and hurt them back. You still think like predators, Ziloth said, seeing his face. You still have the hunter inside you. Vextar touched another button. The screen showed more pictures. These were not from Earth. They showed ruins on other planets. Dead cities, broken statues, empty worlds. These worlds once had predator species too, Vexitar said. They built great civilizations. They reached the stars. They asked to join galactic society. What happened to them? Tejo asked, though he was afraid to know. They destroyed themselves, Vexitar said. Every single one. The pattern is always the same. First they build cities, then they build spaceships, then they spread to other worlds. Then something goes wrong. They turn on each other. Their civilization falls apart. The species dies out. Room was very quiet now. Tejo could hear the air moving through the station's breathing systems. How many predator species have done this? Tejo asked. 7, Vextar said. In the last 10,000 years, 7 predator species reached the stars. All 7 are now extinct. Tejo felt cold. And you think humans will do the same thing? We hope not, Vextar said. But we cannot take the risk. If humans follow the same path as the others, it could be dangerous for everyone. Another alien stood up. This one looked like a big white bird with 4 wings. The ancient texts speak of the hunters from the dark, she said, beings with forward eyes who stalk through the night. The prophecies say they will come from the space between stars. Those are just old stories, Tejo said. Are they? The bird alien asked. Every world has the same story. Hunters with 2 eyes in front of their faces. Hunters who work in groups. Hunters who use tools. The descriptions match humans perfectly. Vextar looked at Tejo with all 6 of his eyes. We have decided, he said, humans will be placed under protective observation. You may not join the defense initiative. Your ships may not travel beyond your current borders. Your people will be watched to make sure they do not follow the path of the other predator species. You're making us prisoners, Tejo said. We are trying to save you, Vextar replied, and we are trying to save ourselves. The meeting was over. Aliens began to leave the room. They moved quickly and quietly. Nobody looked at Tejo as they passed. Tejo sat alone in his chair for a long time. Above him, the big screen still showed pictures of dead worlds, dead cities, dead species who had been predators like humans. He thought about Earth. He thought about his wife and children waiting for him to come home. He thought about the human colonies on Mars and Europa and Titan. Were they all doomed? Would humans really destroy themselves like the other predator species? Or could humans be different? Tejo stood up and walked out of the empty council room. The halls of Harmony's Edge seemed darker now. The other aliens moved away from him even more than before. He was no longer just a human ambassador. He was a representative of a species the galaxy feared. A species that might be heading toward its own destruction. But deep inside, Tejo felt something the other predator species might not have felt. He felt love for his family. He felt responsibility for his people. He felt a need to protect others, not hunt them. Maybe humans could break the pattern. Maybe they could be the first predator species to survive contact with the galaxy. Or maybe they were already doomed, and nobody knew it yet. Dr. Minho wiped sweat from his face. The sun on Kepler 442c was hot and bright. He had been digging in the red dirt for 6 hours. His hands were covered in dust and his back hurt. But he could not stop digging. He had found something important. Something that scared him. "So Young," he called to his partner. "Come look at this." So Young ran over from her tent. She was a xenoarchaeologist. That meant she studied the old things that alien species left behind. She was smart and careful. Minho trusted her more than anyone. "What did you find?" she asked, kneeling next to the hole Minho had dug. Minho pointed at something in the dirt. It was long and thin and made of stone. One end was sharp. The other end had marks carved into it. "Is that a spear?" So Young asked. "Yes," Minho said. "But look at the markings." So Young used a small brush to clean the dust off the stone spear. The markings became clear. They were not random scratches, they were symbols, pictures, words. "These look like," So Young started to say, then stopped. "Like human cave paintings," Minho finished. "From Earth, from 30,000 years ago." They stared at the spear. The symbols showed stick figures with 2 arms and 2 legs. The figures were holding spears. They were chasing other stick figures. It looked exactly like the old cave paintings that early humans had made on Earth. But this spear was not from Earth. It was from Kepler 442c, a planet that was 1 to 200 light-years away from Earth, and it was not made by humans. "Who made this?" So Young whispered. Minho had been asking himself the same question all day. The people who lived on this planet before were called the Nethek. They had died out long ago. No one knew much about them. The Galactic Council said they were a peaceful species that had simply disappeared one day. But this spear did not look peaceful. "Help me dig more," Minho said. They worked together as the sun got lower in the sky. They found more spears. They found stone knives. They found carved bones that looked like tools for cutting meat. They found round stones that had been shaped to fit in a hand. Throwing stones. All of the tools had the same symbols on them. Stick figures chasing other stick figures. Stick figures with spears. Stick figures standing over dead stick figures. "Minho," So Young said in a quiet voice. "I think the Nethek were hunters." "I think so too," Minho said. "But that's not possible. The Galactic Council said all the species in the galaxy came from prey animals, plant eaters, small creatures that hid from bigger ones." "Maybe the Galactic Council was wrong," So Young said. As the sun set, they found something else. It was a flat piece of stone with many symbols carved into it. The symbols were more complex than the ones on the spears. They looked like a kind of writing. "Can you read this?" Minho asked. So Young took pictures of the stone with her computer. She fed the pictures into a translation program. The computer worked for a long time. Finally, words appeared on the screen. The words were in basic galactic language. So Young read them out loud. "The hunt grows dark. The prey becomes the hunter. The great madness comes to all who stalk the night. We have become what we feared. The shadow returns to shadow." Minho and So Young looked at each other. The words did not make much sense, but they sounded scary. "What does it mean?" Minho asked. "I don't know," So Young said. "But I think we need to tell someone about this." Far away on the space station Harmony's Edge, Jiwoo was working late in her lab. She was a xenobiologist. She studied alien life forms. But tonight, she was not studying aliens. She was studying humans. After the council meeting, Jiwoo had started to wonder about something. If humans were predators and all other species were prey, then why were the aliens so scared? Prey animals were usually not afraid of predators unless the predators were hunting them. But humans were not hunting aliens. Humans wanted to be friends with aliens. So why were the aliens acting like humans were about to eat them? Jiwoo's computer made a beeping sound. She had a message. It was from Dr. Minho on Kepler 442c. The message had pictures attached. Jiwoo opened the pictures. She saw spears and knives and stones. She saw symbols that looked like human cave paintings. She read the translation of the stone tablet. "Oh, no," Jiwoo said out loud. She opened her computer files about extinct species. She had been studying them for years. The Galactic Council had records of hundreds of species that had died out. Most of them had died from disease or natural disasters or old age. Their stars had died, or their planets had been hit by asteroids. But some species had just disappeared. One day, they were there, building cities and making art and traveling to other worlds. The next day they were gone. Their cities were empty. Their ships were floating in space with no one inside. Jiwoo made a list of these mystery disappearances. There were 7 of them. 7 species that had just vanished. She looked at the dates when they had disappeared. The first one was 9,147 years ago. The most recent one was 1,203 years ago. All of them had disappeared after they had learned to travel between stars. Jiwoo felt cold. She opened the files about these 7 species. She read everything the Galactic Council knew about them. The more she read, the more scared she became. All 7 species had been found on planets with lots of big animals. All 7 had been at the top of their food chains. All 7 had used tools and weapons. All 7 had worked in groups to hunt. All 7 had been predators. Jiwoo's hands were shaking as she typed a message back to Minho. "Send me everything you found. And be careful, I think the Nethek were like us." Back on Kepler 442c, Minho and So Young kept digging. They found more stone tablets. So Young translated them as fast as she could. The tablets told a story. The Nethek had been hunters, like humans. They had hunted big animals on their world. They had used spears and traps and teamwork. They had been very good at hunting. But then something had changed. The tablets talked about the Great Madness. They talked about Nethek hunting other Nethek. They talked about cities burning. They talked about fear and anger and violence. The last tablet was different from the others. The symbols were carved, deep and rough, like whoever made it had been in a hurry. Or maybe they had been scared. So Young translated it. "We tried to reach the stars. We thought we could leave the hunt behind. But the hunt lives in our blood. The hunt lives in our minds. We cannot escape what we are. The shadow that made us will destroy us. Beware, future hunters, beware the darkness inside." Minho and So Young stared at the tablet. The words made them feel sick. "Minho," So Young said, "what if this is what happened to humans? What if we're going to go crazy too?" Minho did not answer. He was thinking about the council meeting that Tae-ho had told them about. The aliens were afraid of humans. They said predator species always destroyed themselves. Maybe the aliens were right. On Harmony's Edge, Jiwoo was reading more files. She had found records of archaeological digs on the 7 extinct predator worlds. The digs had found the same things that Minho and So Young were finding: weapons, tools for hunting, stone tablets talking about madness and violence. But the most scary thing was what the digs had not found. They had not found any bodies, no skeletons, no graves, no signs of what had killed these species. It was like they had all just disappeared at the same time, like they had all walked away from their cities and never come back. Jiwoo opened a secure communication channel. She needed to talk to someone. She needed to warn Earth about what she was learning. But when she tried to connect to Earth, she got an error message. Communication blocked by Galactic Council authority. Reason: protective isolation protocols in effect. The aliens had cut off all communication between humans. Earth could not talk to the human colonies. The human colonies could not talk to each other. And humans on alien worlds could not talk to anyone. Jiwoo realized that the aliens were not just watching humans. They were preparing for something. They were getting ready for humans to go crazy like the other predator species. Maybe they were getting ready to stop humans before humans could destroy themselves. Or maybe they were getting ready to destroy humans first. Jiwoo looked at the pictures from Minho's dig site. She looked at the stone tablet that warned about the darkness inside. She thought about the 7 extinct predator species. She thought about the fear in the aliens' eyes. For the first time since she had left Earth, Jiwoo wondered if humans would ever see their home planet again, or if they would disappear like all the other hunters before them. Outside her lab window, the stars looked cold and far away. Somewhere out there, human colonies were cut off and alone. Somewhere out there, humans were starting to realize that they might be doomed. And somewhere out there, aliens were watching and waiting to see if humans would become the 8th predator species to destroy itself. Jiwoo went back to her computer. She had work to do. She had to find out what had really happened to the 7 extinct species. She had to find out if humans could avoid the same fate. She had to find out if the darkness inside could be stopped. Dr. Yoon-jung sat in her small office on Harmony's Edge. The walls were covered with papers and charts. On her desk was a computer showing brain scans and psychological reports. She had been studying human minds for 3 weeks, trying to understand why humans might be different from the extinct predator species. What she found surprised her. "Jiwoo," she called to her friend in the next room. "You need to see this." Jiwoo came into the office. She looked tired. She had been working day and night, trying to understand the pattern of extinct predator species. "What did you find?" Jiwoo asked. Yoon-jung pointed to her computer screen. It showed pictures of animal brains from Earth. "Look at these," Yoon-jung said. "This is the brain of a tiger. This is the brain of a shark. This is the brain of an eagle. All of them are predators." Jiwoo looked at the pictures. The brains all looked similar in some ways. "Now look at this," Yoon-jung said, showing another picture. "This is a human brain. The human brain looked different. It had parts that the other predator brains did not have." "What's the difference?" Jiwoo asked. "The other predators hunt alone," Yoon-jung said. "Tigers hunt alone. Sharks hunt alone. Eagles hunt alone. Their brains are made for individual hunting." She pointed to different parts of the brain pictures. "But humans evolved as pack hunters," Yoon-jung continued. "We hunted in groups, we worked together, we shared food. We took care of each other's children." Yoon-jung showed Jiwoo more brain scans. These were from the extinct predator species. The aliens had found these during archaeological digs. "Look at the Vorthak brain," Yoon-jung said. "Look at the Nethek brain. Look at all 7 extinct species. They all have the same pattern. They were solitary hunters." Jiwoo studied the brain scans. The extinct predator species had brains that looked like tigers and sharks. They were made for hunting alone. "What does this mean?" Jiwoo asked. "It means humans are fundamentally different," Yoon-jung said. "When the other predator species reached the stars, they tried to stop hunting completely. They tried to become peaceful like the prey species, but their brains could not handle it." Yoon-jung pulled up more data on her computer. "Solitary predators only know how to hunt or not hunt," she said. "When they could not hunt, they felt empty. They felt lost. So they started hunting each other." "But humans are different?" Jiwoo asked. "Yes," Yoon-jung said, getting excited. "Humans never stopped hunting, we just changed what we hunt." "What do you mean?" Yoon-jung showed Jiwoo videos from Earth. The videos showed humans doing different activities. "Look," Yoon-jung said. "Humans hunt for knowledge. We explore space to hunt new worlds. We compete in sports to hunt victory. We solve problems by hunting solutions." The videos showed human scientists working in labs. They showed human athletes competing in games. They showed human explorers climbing mountains and diving into oceans. "We even hunt to protect others," Yoon-jung said. "Human police hunt criminals. Human soldiers hunt enemies who threaten innocent people. Human doctors hunt diseases." Jiwoo began to understand. "We never stopped being predators. We just became different kinds of predators." "Exactly," Yoon-jung said. "And because we evolved as pack hunters, we have something the other predator species did not have." "What?" "Empathy," Yoon-jung said. "The ability to care about others. When humans hunt, we hunt to protect our pack, our family, our friends, sometimes even strangers. Meanwhile, on his ship, Captain Dong-hyun was dealing with a crisis. His crew was getting more restless every day. The alien watchers were still following them, and now there were reports of fighting on human colonies. "Captain," Chang Min said, "we're getting messages from the Mars colony. There are riots in the cities." Dong-hyun felt his heart sink. "What kind of riots?" "Young humans are forming gangs," Chang Min said. "They're fighting each other. They're fighting the police. They say they're tired of being trapped on Mars." Hai-1 looked up from her workstation. "The Europa colony is reporting the same thing, and Titan, and all the asteroid mining stations." Dong-hyun thought about the pattern. This was how it had started with the other predator species. Young members feeling restless, forming violent groups, fighting each other. "Sir," Chang Min said quietly, "some of our own crew are talking about it too." "Talking about what?" "About fighting back against the aliens. About showing them we're not afraid, about proving we're the strongest." Dong-hyun looked around his ship. His crew were good people, but he could see the anger in their eyes. The need to do something. The need to hunt. Back on Harmony's Edge, Security Chief Hyunwoo was watching the surveillance reports. The aliens were not just watching humans anymore. They were preparing for something. Hyunwoo had been a soldier before he became a security chief. He knew how to read military preparations, and what he saw scared him. The Galactic Council was moving warships into human space. They were setting up blockades around human colonies. They were preparing weapons that could destroy whole planets. "They're getting ready to stop us," Hyunwoo told Taeho. "If humans start fighting like the other predator species, the aliens are going to destroy us first." Taeho felt sick. "How many ships?" "Thousands," Hyunwoo said. "Maybe tens of thousands. Every species in the galaxy is contributing ships. They're all afraid of what humans might become." Taeho thought about his family on Earth. His wife and children had no idea that alien warships were surrounding their planet. They had no idea that humanity might be facing extinction. "Is there any way to contact Earth?" Taeho asked. "No," Hyunwoo said. "All communications are still blocked. The aliens are keeping all human populations isolated from each other." "Why?" "Because isolated predators go crazy faster," Hyunwoo said. "When pack hunters are separated from their pack, they become unstable. The aliens are making sure we follow the same pattern as the other predator species." Taeho realized the horrible truth. The Galactic Council was not just watching humans. They were pushing humans toward madness. They wanted humans to follow the pattern. They wanted humans to destroy themselves so the aliens would not have to do it. On Kepler 442c, Minho and So-young made another discovery. Deep in the Nethek ruins, they found a chamber that was different from the others. The walls were covered with different kinds of symbols. These symbols did not show hunting or fighting. They showed families, parents taking care of children, groups working together to build things. "Look at this," So-young said, translating the symbols. "This part talks about the early Nethek, before they became space travelers." The symbols told a different story. The early Nethek had been pack hunters like humans. They had worked together. They had cared for their young. They had built their first cities by cooperation. But something changed, So-young continued reading. When they reached the stars, their leaders decided that hunting was primitive. They said advanced species should not hunt. They tried to make the Nethek into something they were not. Minho understood. They tried to stop being predators completely. And it drove them crazy, So-young said. Because you cannot change what you are. You can only change how you use what you are. The symbols showed what happened next. Young Nethek rebelled against the peaceful lifestyle. They formed hunting groups that became more and more violent. The society split apart. The leaders made a mistake, So-young said. They should have found new things for the Nethek to hunt, new challenges, new purposes. Instead, they tried to suppress their nature completely. Minho thought about the human colonies, the riots, the gangs, the fighting. Humans were facing the same choice the Nethek had faced. They could try to suppress their predator nature and go crazy, or they could find new things to hunt. We need to get this information to the other humans, Minho said. But when they tried to send a message, they found that their communication systems had been sabotaged. The alien watchers had been busy while they were digging. Across human space, the same thing was happening. Communication systems were failing. Supply ships were being turned away. Human colonies were being isolated completely. The aliens were making sure humans could not work together. They were making sure humans could not solve the problem as a pack. On Harmony's edge, Jiwoo and Yunjung realized what was happening. They're forcing us to follow the pattern, Jiwoo said. They're making sure we can't use our pack-hunting nature to solve this. But we still have one advantage, Yunjung said. What? Humans are very good at finding ways to communicate, Yunjung said, even when someone tries to stop us. She was right. Across the galaxy, humans were finding ways to talk to each other. They used old radio systems the aliens had not thought to block. They sent messages hidden in supply shipments. They used code, words in official communications. Slowly, secretly, humans were sharing what they had learned. The truth about the extinct predator species. The truth about the pattern. The truth about what made humans different. And most importantly, the truth about what they needed to do to survive. Captain Dong-hyun received one of these secret messages. It was from Dr. Eun-jung. The message was simple but important. The alarm bells on Harmony's edge were ringing. Red lights flashed in every hallway. Ambassador Taeho ran toward the command center, his heart beating fast. "What's happening?" he asked Chancellor Vexitar when he arrived. Vexitar's 6 eyes were all focused on the big screen in front of him. The screen showed space near the edge of the galaxy. Something was moving there. Something big and dark. "The void spawners have returned," Vexitar said. His voice was shaking. Taeho had heard stories about the void spawners. They were ancient creatures that lived in the empty space between galaxies. Every few thousand years they came to feed on civilizations. They destroyed planets and ate entire species. "How many ships do they have?" Taeho asked. "Not ships," Vexitar said. "They are the ships, living creatures the size of cities. We count at least 50 of them, maybe more." On the screen, Taeho could see dark shapes moving through space. They looked like giant jellyfish or octopuses, but they were as big as moons, tentacles that stretched for hundreds of miles, eyes that glowed like evil stars. "What can we do?" Taeho asked. Vexitar looked at him with all 6 eyes. "Nothing," he said. "The prey species of the galaxy have no weapons that can fight them. We have never needed to fight anything. We only know how to run and hide." Around the command center, alien beings were panicking. The Cathari were making scared noises. The Selenites were floating around in circles. Everyone was afraid. "What about your defense fleet?" Taeho asked. "Our ships are designed for exploration, not war," Vexitar said. "We have some weapons, but they are small, made for stopping asteroids or space pirates, not for fighting monsters." Taeho thought about the human colonies, about Earth, about his wife and children. The void spawners would destroy everything. "You need the humans," Taeho said. "No," said a voice from across the room. It was Elder Morden from the Selenites. "The humans are dangerous. They will become like the other predator species. They will destroy themselves and us too." "But right now," Taeho said, "you need predators. You need hunters. You need someone who knows how to fight." On his ship, Captain Dong-hyun received the emergency message about the void spawners. His crew gathered around him. Engineer Hae-won, pilot Chang-min, and all the others. They looked scared but determined. "Captain," Chang-min said, "the alien fleet is pulling back. They're running away from the void spawners." "What about us?" Hae-won asked. Dong-hyun looked at his crew. These were his pack, his family, and beyond them were all the human colonies, all the families and children and innocent people who needed protection. "We hunt," Dong-hyun said simply. "Hunt what?" Chang-min asked. "The biggest, most dangerous prey in the galaxy," Dong-hyun said. "We hunt the things that want to eat our pack." Across human space, other ship captains were making the same decision. The human fighting instinct was not turning toward other humans anymore. It was turning toward the real threat, the real enemy. Dr. Yoon-jung watched from Harmony's edge as human ships began moving toward the void spawners. She had been right. Humans were different from the other predator species. When faced with a threat to their pack, they did not fight each other. They fought to protect each other. "Look," she said to Jiwoo, pointing at the tactical display. Human ships were forming hunting groups. Not random groups, but organized packs. They were working together like wolves hunting a deer, or like ancient humans hunting a mammoth. "They're using pack tactics," Jiwoo said, amazed. On the human colonies, the riots stopped. The gangs put down their weapons. Young humans who had been fighting each other started working together instead. They had found something worth hunting, something that threatened everyone they cared about. Minho and So-young, still on Kepler 442c, managed to fix their broken communication system. They sent a message to all human ships. "This is what the extinct predator species never learned," Minho said in his message. "They tried to stop hunting, but humans never stopped hunting. We just learned to hunt the right things. Today we hunt extinction itself. We hunt the darkness that wants to eat our light." The first battle happened near the Jupiter system. 3 void spawners, each one bigger than a city, attacked the human mining stations. Captain Dong-hyun led a pack of 12 human ships against them. The void spawners were terrible to see. They had tentacles that could crush spaceships like eggs. They had mouths full of teeth the size of buildings. They moved through space like swimming through water, fast and deadly. But humans were pack hunters. They did not attack alone. "Remember," Dong-hyun said over the radio to his pack, "we are not trying to kill them by ourselves. We are trying to kill them together." The human ships spread out around the void spawners. Some ships distracted the monsters while others attacked from behind. When one ship was in trouble, others came to help. When one ship ran out of weapons, others shared their supplies. It was hard fighting. The humans lost 4 ships. Many people died. But in the end, all 3 void spawners were dead. The galaxy watched in amazement. The prey species had never seen anything like it. They had never seen creatures work together to hunt something bigger and stronger than themselves. "How did they do that?" Chancellor Vextar asked, watching the battle recordings. "They hunted as a pack," Taeho said. "Like they evolved to do. Like they have always done." More battles followed. Human ships fought void spawners all across the galaxy. Sometimes they won, sometimes they lost. But they never stopped fighting. They never ran away. They never gave up. And something amazing happened. Other species started to help. The Cathari, who were good at hiding and sneaking, started giving humans information about where the void spawners were. The Selenites, who could move through space without being seen, started carrying messages between human ships. Even the proud Vraxians started sharing their technology. "Why are you helping us?" Taeho asked Ziloth, the friendly Cathari. "Because you are not hunting us," Ziloth said. "You are hunting the things that want to hurt us. You are protecting the pack, and now we are part of your pack too." The biggest battle happened near Earth. 10 void spawners attacked humanity's home world. Every human ship in the galaxy came to defend it. But they were not alone. Alien ships came too, thousands of them. The battle lasted for 3 days. The space around Earth was full of fire and explosions and the screams of dying monsters. Humans led the attack, but aliens helped in every way they could. In the end, Earth was safe. All the void spawners were dead or driven away. The galaxy was quiet again. Dr. Yoon-jung studied the psychological reports after the battles. What she found made her smile. "The human colonies are peaceful again," she told Jiwoo. "The riots have stopped. The gangs have dissolved. Young humans are joining exploration teams and research groups instead of fighting each other." "Why?" Jiwoo asked. "Because they found something worth hunting," Yoon-jung said. "They hunted to protect their pack, and now their pack includes the whole galaxy." 3 months later, Taiho stood before the Galactic Council again, but this time was different. This time the aliens were not afraid of him. They looked at him with respect. Humans have proven something important, Chancellor Vextar said. You have shown that predators can become protectors. You have shown that hunters can guard instead of destroy. We are still predators, Taiho said. We will always be predators, but we choose what to hunt. We hunt problems. We hunt dangers. We hunt threats to innocent people. We hunt the darkness so others can live in the light. The Galactic Council has voted, Vextar said. Humans are welcome to join the Defense Initiative, not as junior members but as leaders. You will teach us how to fight when fighting is needed. You will protect us when protection is needed. And you will teach us, Taiho said, how to live in peace when fighting is not needed. Elder Moradin floated forward. We were wrong about humans, he said. We thought you would follow the pattern of the other predator species. We thought you would destroy yourselves. What made us different? Taiho asked. Love, said Ziloth. The other predator species hunted for themselves. Humans hunt for others. You risked your lives to protect people you had never met. You fought monsters to save species that had been afraid of you. Every species has predators, Taiho said, repeating the title of their story. But some predators learn that the greatest hunt is not hunting prey. The greatest hunt is hunting the things that threaten your pack. The greatest hunt is hunting fear itself. Captain Dong Hyun stood on the bridge of his ship looking out at the stars. His crew was around him planning their next mission. They would explore new worlds. They would search for new threats to the galaxy. They would hunt for knowledge and adventure and ways to protect innocent people. Where are we going next, Captain? Changmin asked. Wherever we're needed, Dong Hyun said. Wherever the hunt takes us. Engineer Haewon smiled. What are we hunting for this time? Same thing we always hunt for, Dong Hyun said. A better tomorrow, a safer galaxy, a brighter future for everyone. He looked out at the stars and thought about the extinct predator species. They had chosen exile and disappearance because they could not control their hunting instincts. Captain Li Wujin watched the red planet grow larger through the ship's window. His hands were steady, but his heart was heavy. Another mission. Another world where humans would die for alien masters. Captain, we're approaching the mining colony, said Commander Kim Tae-ho from behind him. His voice was quiet and tired. They both knew what was coming. Wujin turned to face his men. 48 human soldiers sat in the transport ship. They wore basic armor and carried simple weapons. The aliens called them Deathworlders, a name meant to remind them they came from a dangerous planet and were good only for dangerous jobs. Listen, up, Wujin said to his troops. The Dominion says there's a rebellion on Mining Station 7. Workers are refusing to work. Our job is to make them work again. One young soldier raised his hand. Sir, what if they're just tired? The reports say they work 18 hours a day. Wujin's jaw tightened. He had read the same reports. The miners were exhausted, underfed, and desperate. But the Dominion didn't care about that. We follow orders, Private Yoon, Wujin said. That's what Deathworlders do. The word tasted bitter in his mouth. For 300 years, humans had been told they were lucky to serve the great galactic Dominion. Lucky to have jobs. Lucky to be useful despite coming from a primitive death world called Earth. The ship landed with a heavy thud. Through the speakers, an alien voice spoke in the cold mechanical tone all Dominion officials used when talking to humans. Deathworlder Unit 47, you will enter the mining facility and restore order. Expected casualty rate for your unit is 70%. This is acceptable. Any questions? 70%. That meant 34 of his men would die today, and the aliens thought that was fine. No questions, Control, Wujin replied. He had learned long ago not to argue with Dominion officials. The soldiers filed out of the ship. The mining station was a huge metal structure built into the side of a mountain. Smoke rose from several buildings. The air smelled of burning metal and fear. As they walked toward the main entrance, Tae-ho moved closer to Wujin. Sir, something feels wrong about This. What do you mean? Look around. No bodies, no destroyed equipment. If there was a real rebellion, wouldn't we see more damage? Wu Jin looked more carefully. Taeho was right. The rebellion looked more like a peaceful protest. Workers had gathered in the main square, but they weren't carrying weapons. They were just sitting together holding signs that asked for more food and rest. These people aren't rebels, whispered Private Park Minsu. They're just hungry. Before Wu Jin could respond, his radio crackled. Death Worker Unit 47, you are taking too long. Begin suppression immediately. Wu Jin felt sick. Suppression meant violence. It meant hurting innocent people who were already suffering. Sir? Taeho was waiting for orders. Wu Jin made a decision that would change everything. Instead of attacking, he walked up to the crowd of miners and raised his hands to show he meant no harm. I'm Captain Lee Wu Jin, he said loudly. We're here to talk, not fight. An old miner stood up slowly. His face was thin from hunger, and his clothes were torn. Captain, we don't want trouble. We just want enough food to feed our families, and enough rest to stay alive. How long have you been working 18-hour shifts? Wu Jin asked. 6 months, the old man replied. Ever since the Dominion increased production quotas. We're so tired we can barely stand. 3 workers died from exhaustion last week. Wu Jin felt anger building in his chest. The Dominion was working these people to death, and he was supposed to force them back to work. His radio crackled again. Unit 47, why is there no weapons fire? Begin suppression now. Wu Jin looked at his men. They were all watching him, waiting to see what he would do. These weren't soldiers trained for war. They were mechanics, farmers, and students who had been drafted into service. They didn't want to hurt innocent people any more than he did. Unit 47, respond immediately. Instead of following orders, Wu Jin did something that surprised everyone, including himself. He turned off his radio. Men, he said to his soldiers, we're going to do something different. We're going to help these people. For the next 4 hours, instead of attacking the miners, Wu Jin's unit helped them organize their protest peacefully. They shared their military rations with hungry families. They used their medical supplies to treat sick workers. They listened to stories of exhaustion and desperation. By the end of the day, the mining station was calm. The workers had returned to their jobs, but only after Wu Jin promised to report their situation to higher authorities. He knew the report would be ignored, but it gave the miners hope. When the transport ship returned, Archon Velthar, a tall alien with silver skin and cold blue eyes, was waiting for them. His expression was angry. Captain Lee, Velthar said in his mechanical voice, you were ordered to suppress a rebellion. Instead, you negotiated. This is unacceptable. Sir, there was no rebellion, Wu Jin replied carefully. Just hungry workers who needed help. We restored order without violence. Violence was required. Velthar's voice became sharper. Deathworlders exist to fight and die. That is your purpose. By avoiding casualties, you have failed your duty. Wu Jin felt his anger growing stronger. With respect, sir, we completed the mission successfully. The workers are back at their jobs and the station is peaceful. Peaceful solutions are not the Deathworlder way, Velthar replied. You will report to Conditioning Center tomorrow for attitude adjustment. That night back on the main station, Wu Jin couldn't sleep. Attitude adjustment meant brainwashing. They would try to make him more violent, more willing to hurt innocent people. He was sitting in his quarters when someone knocked on his door. It was Dr. Park So-min, a human scientist who worked in the research section. Captain, we need to talk, she said quietly. About what? About what really happened on Mining Station 7, and about things you need to know. Dr. Park sat down and pulled out a small data pad. I've been studying mission reports for years. Do you know what I've found? Wu Jin shook his head. Human units complete missions with lower casualty rates than any other species in the Dominion. We're better at problem solving, better at adapting, better at finding peaceful solutions. But these reports are always classified or destroyed. Why? Because the Dominion is afraid of us, Dr. Park said. They know that if humans realized how capable we really are, we might start asking questions. Like why we're treated as expendable when we're actually the most effective soldiers in their army. Wu Jin stared at her. What are you saying? I'm saying that everything we've been told about being primitive Deathworlders is a lie. We're not the weakest species in the galaxy. We might be the strongest. And they know it. At that moment, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Over. The speaker's Velthar's voice announced new orders that would change everything. Attention all Deathworlder units. Effective immediately, all human children between ages 5 and 15 will be removed from family housing for enhanced conditioning. This will improve their usefulness to the Dominion. Parents who resist will be executed as traitors. Wu Jin felt something break inside him. They weren't just oppressing adults anymore, they were coming for the children. He looked at Dr. Park, and she looked back at him. Both of them were thinking the same thing. We can't let this happen, Wu Jin said quietly. No, Dr. Park agreed. We can't. Outside their window, they could see Dominion guards moving toward the family housing sections. Human parents were already being dragged from their homes, their children crying as they were taken away. Captain Li Wu Jin made his second decision of the day, and this one would change the fate of the galaxy. Dr. Park, he said, I think it's time we stopped playing by their rules.